What's going on, 6th graders? We are moving on to Northern and Southern Europe now. Lesson 1 here, physical geography of the regions. Our essential question, how do people adapt to their environment? So how do people kind of change the way they are in order to work for their environment? Got your key terms here. And then again, we have our physical portion here. So we have our two areas. We have Northern and Southern. Obviously, look at the compass. All of this is Northern Europe. You've got Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark. This region is also known as Scandinavia. I'm going to try and write it down here. Scandinavia. It is sometimes referred to that. So that's like, this is where Vikings came from. Then you have Southern Europe, which is these countries down here. So, and I guess to a certain extent Cyprus. So you've got Portugal, Spain, Andorra, which is a little itty-bitty country. Italy, San Marino, and Vatican City, which are, San Marino and Vatican are both really tiny countries. We have Greece, we have the island of Malta, then you have Cyprus over here. So that's Northern and Southern. All right, getting right into the questions. So number 1, we needed to read the text and underline all of the peninsulas of Northern and Southern Europe. There are lots and lots of peninsulas here, so we need to make sure we highlight all of them. Our first one, these are in the north. We have the Jutland Peninsula. Then we have the Scandinavian Peninsula on there. Moving into Southern Europe, Spain and Portugal, they are both on the Iberian Peninsula. Italy is along the Italian Peninsula. Then you have the Balkan Peninsula, which includes some of the Eastern European countries like Serbia, places like that on there. All right, very good. So number 2, we need to circle all of the islands, and then we need to underline the islands that are Italian. Then we need to double underline those that contain a Turkish territory. So there's going to be a lot of lines and things here. So first off, we have Sicily is an island. Sardinia is an island. Crete is an island. And then we have Malta is an island. Then we have Cyprus is an island. And then we also need to go back and underline the Italian ones. So circle and underlining for Sicily, a circle and an underline for Sardinia. And then we need to double underline the one that has a Turkish one, which is here. And then if we also want to go ahead and do things, we can go ahead and we can circle Iceland as well because they are also an island. All right. The next one is, in your own words, define glaciation. Glaciation. That's a fancy way. That's for explaining how glaciers move. So what we're going to put here is we're just going to put glaciers move and cause erosion. So as a glacier moves, it releases particles and minerals that erode the soil. Move and cause erosion. If you haven't already, I know you guys will learn about that in science this year. All right, number 4, which landforms best characterize Northern Europe? Very first thing it talks about, these rugged mountains. So we're just going to write that. Most of Europe, rugged mountains are a big deal. They're basically an entirely mountain landscape. Norway and Sweden are basically just 2 countries on the west and the eastern side of one big mountain chain. All right, moving on. Question 5 here, read the text on the left. Highlight the vocabulary word that describes an area where only lichens and mosses survive. If you notice, I put a big X through yours. I can't find that one. If you can find it, show it to me. I will give you a piece of candy, whether you're in my class or Miss Wilson's. All right, number 6, underline how the Gulf Stream affects temperatures in Iceland. Well, this sentence that starts with Gulf Stream is a good place, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to underline that sentence there. And then we're actually going to go ahead and we're going to underline the next one. Good. And you know what? We can go ahead, tell you what, let's go ahead and underline this entire paragraph because it all talks about the Gulf Stream and it all talks about Iceland. All right, number 7. What kind of climate does most of Southern Europe have? Well, they straight up tell you most of Southern Europe has a Mediterranean climate. So we're just going to write that. Mediterranean. And we'll put climate on there just so we know what we're talking about. Okay, all set. Number 8, how do landforms and waterways affect the climates of Norway and Italy? So for both of them, you're looking at the same thing. Mountains are tall. The higher up you go on a mountain, the temperature is going to get colder. So what you have is mountains make parts of each country colder. And we're going to go ahead and put that. So mountains make parts of each country colder. If you've ever traveled inside the United States and you've gone to like Colorado or something like that, or some of the eastern United States where there are mountains, the higher up in altitude you get, the colder it's going to be. All right, flip the page over. We've got 9 and 10 and then your writing prompts to do. Number 9, how do the countries of Northern Europe get much of their energy? So a lot of it they talk about is going to be all in basically these areas. So a lot of it, you have wind because they do have wind energy areas. They also have water because they have hydroelectricity. And specifically, if we're talking about like Iceland and things like that, they use geothermal energy, which is from like volcanoes and the heat of the earth. That's where they're going to get most of their energy. Okay, how can a thriving fishing industry be a positive and negative factor for a country? So again, positive, and then we'll put an N down here for negative. So if you have any sort of industry, we're talking about economics, and if you have a very large one, what you're getting is you're getting a lot of jobs, and you're probably getting a fair amount of money coming in. If you're selling thousands and thousands of tons of fish, you're probably making a decent profit. If you've ever been to H-E-B or Walmart and you're looking where they sell fish, especially where they sell like custom sizes of fish, they're pretty expensive. Halibut and things like that is several dollars a pound. So, you know, you catch a few tons of that, you've got a lot of money. Now, the negative is that you could have overfishing, meaning there's too many people fishing the area, which is going to cause a lower fish population, and it'll cause job loss and a loss of money. You're also going to get pollution, because if you have a bunch of people there with their boats and stuff like that, you're probably going to have a lot of large boats that create a lot of pollution with smoke and smog and stuff. On this one, you only have one writing prompt, but it is a pretty big one. How are the climates of Northern and Southern Europe alike and different? So look over the climate section. How are they the same? And then how are they different? Get a few sentences there. And then I'll see you guys again for lesson 2 for the history of the regions.